What's going on, Hope Church, and anybody else who decides to watch this little video? I thought since I was in my hometown, I would go ahead and show you uh, my roots and where I come from and where it all started for me, uh, seeking God and getting into the ministry. So, we'll turn this camera around. First place I'm going to show you is the church I grew up in. It's right up here on the left. Now, this is the church that my grandma and grandpa started, and my mom eventually pastored. It's I don't know really what it is now. I'm not really gonna pull in there. I don't want to get somebody upset and the law called on me. But yeah, that's the little church. It was called Bethel Pentecostal Church. My grandma and grandpa started the church, and my grandma pastored for a while. It wasn't in that building. That's the building that I remember going to church in as a child. And but I think they were in another building before that. And then, excuse me, then grandma, uh, she quit pastoring, and they had a couple other pastors come through. And then when I was a child, I don't know, somewhere around elementary school, 6, 5, somewhere around there, the pastor that we had, I think he resigned, and they asked mom to fill in and preach for them until they found somebody. Mom didn't really want it. She thought a man should have it, but she stepped in and she preached, and they wanted her to become pastor, and so they put her in as pastor. And I don't know how long she pastored there before we moved. So I'm getting ready to take you right now. We're gonna go right up the road here, right up the hill, and the next place we came to was we bought this building, this church up here. Now, we moved into this church up here when I was about 9, somewhere around there. I think I was about 9 years old. Now, that little white church back there, that's where I learned to play the drums. That's where I'd sat on the stool and I could barely reach the foot pedal. But my aunt played the piano, my uncle played the guitar, my mom sung, my grandma sung, my grandpa beat the cymbals for us. Let me get this little thing out of the way. Now, this right here is the church that we moved into after the white church. Mom was still pastor. Now, this is the church that I started pastoring. This is where I started pastoring and took over for Mom. I got the call to preach in here in this church. And eventually, at the age of 21, I went full time and I started pastoring here. And I pastored here in this building for about 10 years until God called me to Florida. Now it's, what's that say? It's Bethlehem Ministries, Grove Landing. Pastors Bobby Jr. and Deborah Grove. His dad was a very powerful minister, I believe, and pastor in the area, Bobby Grove. But yeah, that's the church that where I took over and started pastoring. Um, yeah, this was an experience, man. That was my that this was my boot camp. This is where God shaped me and formed me and did all kinds of stuff to me. And pastored here until 2010, and then God moved me to Florida, and we planted a church there. But man, we had some moves of God in those 10 years here pastoring, and even before that with Mom pastoring. Seen a lot of things, a lot of miracles, a lot of salvations, just a lot of things that God did. And I wouldn't take nothing for it, because it made me who I am. So let me take you to one more place. I'll take you to one more place, and it's where I had my very first revival. Uh, there was a pastor there that wanted me to come for like 3 nights, and we ended up having a 4-week revival where we counted, I know, 80 people. Well, we counted at least 40 people that got saved, a lot of which became members of my church when I started pastoring. And there was about another 40 that got baptized in the Holy Ghost. And it's where I saw my first miracle. I saw a lot of firsts in that revival, but let me take you there real quick.